Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Used Jester. My name is Junior. Wow, why is Orko out of the box? Why is he right in front of your TV or device? Well, I'm kind of changing up the format of how I review things. Basically, what you're going to be seeing is the actual review of the product. This is Mondo's 1/6 scale Orko, the deluxe edition. I don't know if they're going to offer a more regular version later down the line, but here he is out of the box, and we'll just go ahead and start with the review. So, and then after the initial review, then I'll do the quick unboxing and then the review of the accessories. But we'll just go ahead with the review right now. Here he is coming out. Oh, he's being unveiled. Finally. I did see a Facebook post where the arm of his figure got broken. I'm very sorry to see that. I'm not going to move the hands too much until I see the under structure. But first impressions, I like the fact that they kind of made him pudgy with this robe. It gives him a little bit more of a friendlier look. Very nice detail. Of course, the cloth robe. Then you have this more stiffer rubbery robe on top. I know that you can remove this whole thing because we've seen him naked. Something I've never seen before. Well, I'm not sure if I was ever interested in seeing. Notice that the robe over here has a different cloth texture here at the very edge of the sleeves. It's very nice. And then you have this gold braid going on. All right, so again, we'll look at the hat. So the hat design is completely different from the previous one. This was an issue that I saw, and I was thinking, I wish that this hat was transferable to this head or vice versa, because I kind of really like the hat design that they did in this one. But this one is definitely what the original was like. And then of course I kind of like the coloring of these eyes compared to this one. So and then of course I kind of what I'm trying to say is that I wish I could transfer the main head of this one into this one, because I like this and then this design, but you can't. But I don't like, I like this option, but I wish I could interchange it, because this kind of looks like it would go with these hands with the pointed fingernails, but it kind of makes him look evil looking, more menacing. And Orko is not a menacing figure for me. It's a nice option, but I wish that it could be interchanged. I don't know if somebody's brave enough to try and see if that's possible, because I'm assuming the structural sculpt of this one is the same as that. I can see that this is glued in the back, and then you have the tab over here. Let me pull off the head and we can compare the two. It is designed to be pulled, so no fear of that. I will say that these two cannot be exchanged, because if you look at the tab on this one and the tab on this one has a wider tab than this. The structure of the handkerchief or the bandana or scarf is different, as you can see, as it goes inside here, while this one is not. I kind of wish that Mondo took that into account, the possibility of interchanging the two main heads with the scarves and the hat, because I feel like they could have easily have taken that into account when they were designing it. That way, because you'll never see the hole in here, right? I feel like it's the same. It's about the same structure. I feel like it could have easily have been done. Because then you would have had, as a customer, as somebody who might play with your figures, the option of interchanging these with the head. It just gives us more options. But even if you were to pull it off and be brave enough to heat it up so that you can heat away the glue and try to interchange things, it's not going to happen, because the tab on this one is too big and this one is too narrow. And if you were to cut it off and customize it, it will be too loose, I feel. So it's not going to work. Don't try it unless you're really good at customizing. So we're basically stuck with these two heads with these two designs. While we have the heads off, we can look at the structure of the neck. It does have, as you can see, this here, so it's got a bit of a grip. It should have that much movement. The neck is static on the body, so all the movement you're going to have is on this peg. It's very easy to remove the head from the neck. As you can see, it's got a soft plug. It plugs in really well. And with the head, as what I was trying to point out, is it completely changes the demeanor or the look of Orko, where before, when I was referring to the pudginess of the design of the body, it doesn't fit the head style now, because now it doesn't look pudgy. He just looks kind of it looks like a different character altogether. I love the option. I love these and the head, but this head, I feel, does not fit the design of the body. I'm gonna look really closely to this one. This design, I want to compare it to this one, so that's different, and it's different to the circle in this one. Do you think that's solar system representation? I don't know. This coin is loose. It's got a string on it, and it's just tied in, but it's very tight in there, so it's not gonna give. This, I'm not sure. There's some sort of crystal. I think that would have been better if it was an actual crystal, but that's good as it is. That's also tied in. Belt pouch here. It's very, this one is kind of like a basic paint job with just that smattering of gold compared to the paint job we're seeing all across the rubber. Would you call it a vest? See, like this is not just like straight gold. It's got some sort of wash going on in this one. This is more of a deeper wash than this, but there is a wash here. And then you can see these pinpricks of gold over there. And then you can see, same here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of like rivets. And then you see some more washes, dark washes. There's some sort of like a gold paint rub on the higher surface going on. All that work, all that paint job kind of ends up being amplifying what they did on the belt and this pouch being too simplistic. There is a wash going on in the belt as well, but yeah, it's good. It's good for what it is. It's just that the makeup of the entire structure is so complicated and nice that this one kind of stands out as lacking in paint. It's not, but it just stands out like that. Really good job on how they tattered the robe. Oh, there is, it does have those legs in there. Okay, so how, I don't know if this is meant to come off. I do know that there was a picture where he was naked, but I just don't see any way that you can unplug this, and I don't know if you're supposed to. Not that I'm going to, it's just that I just want to see the structure of this one, because I don't have access to my computer right now the way my thing is set up. So I'm gonna say don't even bother trying to remove this, because see how this one is another layer going underneath, right? But here it's so tightly constructed and integrated to the lower one, which is a separate piece, that I just don't see it. Now, being careful, because I don't see this, I don't remember the structure of the shoulders, so we'll be careful as we move it around. So you can turn it around, just being careful because of the fabric. It does have an outside movement. It does have a bicep. These are the ones I'm guessing on because we're familiar with Mondo figures anyway. Okay. And I'm feeling the bicep structure underneath. That way I know how to orient the muscles. Because this is the bicep, so obviously that's going outward like that, which basically means the joint here goes this way. And it's got a bicep cut over here, and there the elbow joint over here, if we can expose it, should only be going one direction. See? So don't attempt to twist it this way. It's not meant to. It's just going back and forth. And the twist sideways is going to come from the bicep. Okay. And really good job on the peg ball joint. I know I'm putting it out because some companies have that too big. I believe that was an issue I was seeing on their Tila, where the ball joint of the wrist seemed much bigger than the actual hand. So I don't know. I hope that's gonna be addressed soon. It is bigger than the actual wrist and the hand itself, but here it's so hidden that it is very nicely incorporated. So I hope that is gonna be the same case with Tila. I'm trusting on the fact that they did such a good job on this one that they're gonna do the same thing with Tila. Okay, waist articulation. I mean, do we really expect any waist articulation the way this upper rubber is constructed? I just don't think there is. There's an interesting thought. There are legs underneath here, but as I'm carefully moving the joints, there aren't any. So let's take a peek. The first thing we see is 2024 Mattel. Okay, so the legs, they exist, but as you can see, this is sculpted. We'll look underneath and peek underneath his robe. It's all sculpted as one piece. Isn't that weird? We now know what Orko's legs look like, but it's all sculpted and not meant to move. So as I was talking about the waist articulation, there is very little, but there is some sort of movement going underneath there. But since we're not going to be seeing underneath the robe, there really isn't any reason why there should be a waist articulation. But as you can see, if I'm going to hold the legs facing forward and I'm gonna move and twist the body, as you can see, the rubber will flex and distort according to the stiff legs. So it's up to you guys to determine whether that's even necessary, because you don't really need to twist at the waist. All you just need to figure to twist at the base. And I forgot to show these two pouches in the back. So I feel, for me, I'm gonna put on this head because it's very close to what Orko looks like in the animation. And be very careful when you're moving this shoulder joint, because as you can see now, I don't know the orientation because we don't see it, right? If I were to force it going this way, it would break. It would break. So just be careful to figure out where the joint is facing. And now that I know it's going this way and I want to move it down, then I can move it down. This is a over $200 figure, toy, whatever you want to call it. Unless you're made out of money that you're willing to just force it, be very careful with your item. The breakage that the one person was showing occurred on his elbow. So I wanted to show the construction. It is a double jointed elbow. So you can move that kind for his hands. Just need to know where those joints are facing before you guys start messing around with it. Be very careful with your money and everything. So let's see. Oh, let's replace the hands with the effects, right? Let's see how easy it is. I'm also careful when I'm replacing these joints, because if you, and this is not Mondo's fault, this is just the way these joints are designed. The peg here, as thin as it is, the way it's connected to the ball is connected half of the diameter of that peg, so it's even thinner. So just be careful when you're pulling these. It's got a small arrow to say plug it in that direction. I don't need that. Okay, now this is a heavy accessory hand. There really isn't any way to have made it more stiffer, I feel. So this, look, oh my gosh, look at that. I just have to display it with that. I just have to display it with that fire effect. So thank you for putting an effect for each hand. Because now I'm going to tell you guys, I just don't think I'm ever going to display this Orko without these two effects on. I just don't think that's going to happen. This is just way too good looking with the effects on. Yeah. If this had lights on, that's just me being greedy. But man, if this had like swirling lights on, I wouldn't even know how to begin that. So now the problem is, how does this connect to the figure? Does it clamp on the waist or on the legs? Let me experiment with that off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So this stand, it doesn't have a spring or anything. It's just basically, very simply, open it up, close it back in. It's all basically by tension as well. What I'm going to do is basically open it wide so that it can comfortably go around the figure, and then close it back in. And that's it. That's all you do. Let me switch angles and look it up. And we'll do the final review. So there is regular sized Orko compared to the rest to the smaller Orkos over here. I love these as an accessory. It's really smaller than this Orko, right? Definitely much more basic looking than this Orko, but I love the fact that they included it. So here is Orko standing side by side He-Man. I apologize that the He-Man, my He-Man has a little bit of a shininess to it. This has been, I did spray a protective matte coating on this one, but he still came out as slightly shiny, so that's fine. I suppose He-Man's been working out. He's kind of sweaty. This is my spare body that Mondo had to replace because of the issue with the waist, but everything's fine. I glued everything, and I glued it up and everything. But as you can see now, what do you guys think? Is this Orko more proportional to the He-Man, or does he seem slightly bigger than he should be? See, I'm looking at it in hand, and I feel like this Orko is bigger than he should be. I love the design. I love their take on it, but he feels like he's like a really big figure, to be honest. So this is the reason why I was happy that they included the simpler version of Orko. Here's this Orko side by side. I know on camera he looks tiny, like, but so I'm looking at the head size of this Orko compared to the He-Man head size, and I feel like that's a more appropriate size for Orko, because I feel like Orko should be like a child size compared to He-Man, because He-Man's supposed to be bigger, right? More muscular. And I feel like Orko, if he was a full figure, would be the equivalent physique of a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, because I feel like in the cartoons, that's kind of like what he was looking underneath that robe. And the way, you know, he behaved, he almost looked like the child as he is mirrored to us. He is the child that we were when we were looking at He-Man and in the cartoon. That's why when I envision Orko, I envision him more of a child, like, even though he's supposed to be like this wise sorcerer and everything, but I feel like he's kind of like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, to be honest, when I think of Orko. Kind of like a beginner. I know his lore is not the same. Like, he's supposed to be this accomplished magician that crossed over to Eternia, and when he did, he lost all his connection to his magic. That's why he's a bumbling sorcerer. But in the cartoon, he seemed like he was like more of like an apprentice, because he's trying to, his magic doesn't really work well. So when I look at his cartoon version, in the cartoons, I feel like he's supposed to be like an adolescent. That's why I know this looks small, slightly too small. Hold on. But that kind of works for me. So I do have two He-Mans, so I can easily display him, this one with this Orko. I think that fits better. If he was slightly, like maybe 15% bigger, I think he would have been perfect. And of course, you can't really buy this. You can't really buy this separately. So the only way to have these two is to buy the actual Mondo Orko. I know, we're supposed to be talking about this Orko, right? It's a beautiful figure. It's got a lot of accessories. Just standing like this, it's awesome. It looks awesome. It fits the design that Mondo has been doing with their Masters of the Universe. Beautiful magical effects. It's just that it doesn't fit the scale to what I think of if I were to line him up with the rest of my Masters of the Universe. He seems fairly big. Now, the one thing I will say that I will comment on is the base. The base looks nice and everything, but it's too thin. The joints, the way these bases are made, I feel like ratcheted. This is kind of difficult because I've seen these bases before, and as thin as they are, as the job is to make sure they're almost non-visual. As you can see, you almost can't see it underneath the armpits. So that's a good job. But as a base, it's not. Let me show you. I'm going to move it forward and back. He's about to topple, and he topples. This part is usually the weakest point, and if it's not this one, the middle one is actually pretty good. Well, nope. That's a fail right there, and I just don't know how they could do it better. I know that certain companies like Hot Toys, what they would do with floating figures, they have the ribbed one, where it's kind of like a wire, but you can't do that and keep it being invisible. Should this have been a thicker rod? The rod is not the issue. The issue is the joints, because these are basically tensioned with screws, and if they'll eventually get loose. So I feel like their solution was have it so that you can tighten it with Phillips if you need to, but eventually you're going to cause it to crack as you tighten it and tighten it and tighten it. Maybe if they were to include a rubber here so that the rubber creates a tension and makes it stronger. I don't know. You guys will have to think about that. I'm no engineer or anything. So basically what you want to do is keep this as balanced as possible, because any kind of movement will cause it to like droop, like as you're seeing right now. So I had it kind of like, see, this is going to be awkward. Like, and I don't want to see his feet. Okay. And don't move him. I'm serious. Don't move him. Be very careful moving him. Any kind of movement, he's going to fall and topple over. My final review for this figure, I had to get it. There is no way you're going to have a Masters of the Universe collection without an Orko. Orko is even more essential than the Sorceress, because when you think of Masters of the Universe and the core characters, you think He-Man, Orko, and Teela, Battle-Cat. No, let me rephrase that. You think of He-Man, Battle-Cat, Orko, Man-at-Arms, Teela on the good guy side, and then the Sorceress, right? Because you're always going to think of the core group as He-Man, Battle-Cat, Orko, Man-at-Arms. I'm sorry, that's how I'm thinking of it, and because those are the core group of characters that know who He-Man is and who Prince Adam is. And now I'm really regretting not getting Prince Adam. I didn't. But that's the way I think of it. So you need to get Orko. It's kind of like saying, you know, you can't get Battle Cat because you can only get He-Man. You can't. You have to have Battle Cat with He-Man. I know he's expensive, but you just needed to. I mean, Battle Cat is even more essential to He-Man than Orko. Battle Cat is even more essential to He-Man than Man-at-Arms. I know he's big. I know he was expensive, but I'm sorry if you guys had to pass on him. But for me, he's essential. It's kind of like saying He-Man. If you have He-Man, you need to have Skeletor. So, yeah, I needed to get Orko. And I like the design. I was already, you know, this was a good accessory. It's a good accessory. But I honestly, I didn't need to have them. It's neat. It's nice to have an option. This was great. This is honestly what I was waiting. These two accessories are more important to me than the rest of the other accessories, because this is the two that will display with my Mondo figures. I don't mind the fact that they're not as articulated. I don't know. That's just my opinion, guys. So don't kill me for it. Obviously, this looks awesome. It's just way too big for what I feel. But if they had shrunken a little bit to be in between this size and that size, I would have been happy. Shrunk him a little bit, expand. Here's what I've done. Here's what I would have done, right? I love the design of this one. This incorporates to the Mondo design, but I feel like the perfect scale would have been between this guy and that guy. Like maybe that much. And then keep the design as it is. I didn't really need to have the legs, to be honest. But I know you guys were thinking realistically, what is this creature? He could have had no legs for all we know, right? He could have had just like the Slimer tail that goes in like that. And then, yes, keep the head, this alternate head, okay, that's good. I didn't need this. The two accessory figures, yeah, okay, to keep that. Keep these two. Keep the book, keep the scepter. Honestly, you know what? Maybe not keep this one, but the hat. That would have been nice. It would have been nice if the hat and the kerchief or the bandana would have been a replaceable thing. Keep these two, make a table diorama. The table would have been awesome. And some flasks and some, you know, I know it's going too much, but make a table, make the flask, make something for this one, and then either keep him at the 235 level or maybe even put him up at 300, right? Because it's not just a figure you're buying, it's a diorama. Now, you might be saying, well, we don't really need that stuff as an extra for Orko. Okay, I agree with you, okay? So then maybe increase these two types of pieces, maybe have something like that's bigger that he can stand around, and keep it at the 235 price level. If the price level is something that's demanded of the company. So smaller figure, more accessories is basically what I was kind of aiming for. But if you're going to ask me which of the two I would rather display with my Mondo figures, it's going to be these rather than that one, because I feel like he's just way too big. It's a beautifully done piece. It's just kind of too big. He just is. I don't know. That's it for my impressions, my review of this figure. I'm still glad that I got him. Obviously, because of this too. I love the fact that I love how they rendered him, modernized the look of Orko. I really do. Just the size is just too big for me. The price of $235 is still worth it because I still got these two, which is what I really was hoping to get. And there's a lot of accessories in this one. Don't get me wrong, it's beautifully done. And I had to get it. I'm sorry. Now, following right now is basically the unboxing and the closer look to the accessories. Yes, I'm switching how I'm doing my review, but you know, if you guys feel like you want to stick around and look at the accessories and the quick unboxing, you can do so. This is my initial review of Orko 1/6 scale from Mondo. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Here's the front of the box. I really do like it. It feels like it's coming straight out of the cartoon. If the cartoon were modernized to have better artistic renditions in terms of like coloring and you know, because it has a very fantastical feel to it, I feel. So here's the book of sort of spells that he has. There's Scringer. And there's somebody at the window. I can't see the face, but there's somebody in there. It's not Adam. Is it Adam? Possibly. Here's the side. Here's the back of the box. Here's the side. Let's open it up really quickly. As you can see, this is straight out of the box. I haven't even opened that up yet. I know it's glary, so we'll take that out. Here's the other art of the box. This is the actual figure itself, so it's really cool. Let me take it out of the box really quick. Alright, now that we have seen everything out of the box, as you can see, I didn't even look at it. We'll look at it all at the same time. I will tell you this, one of the main concerns that I had was how I would be able to display the two very simplified versions of Orko and whatever this female Orko's name is. And I'm very, very happy to see that Mondo took care of that by giving us their own stands over here. Very simplified stands. That's all I needed. And this is also, I think, for them as well. So thank you very much, Mondo, for, again, meeting my expectations just on the stands alone. We'll go ahead and look very, very quickly, briefly, at the individual accessories and parts. As you can see, I haven't even opened up Orko as well. So we'll see that very soon. Hold on for a second. Okay, the figure comes with a total of 12 hands. 12 hands. 6 casting ones and 4 that are sort of close-fisted, sort of. That's not including the ones that are in the figure. Okay, so that's a total of 14. And then 2 more that have special effects on them. So let's see. These 2 hands, see that? Still hard to focus. There you go. It's got a very nice matte paint job, but not the same as it was before, where I feel like before it was too chalky. This time it's matte, but at the same time seems more protected. So it's kind of like what they did in their recent paint apps, so that's pretty cool. I'm just going to show the paint application on just this one, and then we'll go really quickly on all the different posing. Oh, that's weird. So this one has pointed nails, this one doesn't. I just realized that. So that's not the pairing for that. So this must be the pairing for this one. Why is it not focusing? Now, as I was unboxing these hands, I was slightly concerned with these really long-nailed ones, because it kind of looked like it's gonna make him look like he's kind of evil. I'm sorry, but that's how I see these sharp claws. They're basically like claws. So it's really good that Mondo was actually, whoever it was from Mondo, that actually kind of thought, you know what, that might be the case, and they switched over to a normal size looking fingernails. So I'm glad they did that. Here are the two. Here are the two that are the, I suppose, accessory gripping hands. They're still hard, semi-hard, but has a bit of a give. I only say that as a concern because it might cause a paint rub. But like I said, it's not the same as the chalky type of matte paint that they use. So you can see, as you can see, there is a give to it, and I do it just like very, very softly to make sure that it's not going to cause any paint rubs. So as you'll see that I'm twisting it and moving it about like that, so I can show you if there's any paint rub that might occur. So in the older type of paint that they used, you would have seen like this would be matte in a way that you would have seen shiny streaks when you twist that object. As you can see, if there is any shiny streaks that cause that, I can barely see it, so that's pretty good. While we have this, might as well look at this one. This is really cool staff, or what would you call this? Wow, look at the detail on this one. I'm gonna have to look into that. Let's see. Look at the detail on that. Same on the other side. But this is plain and everything, but like it really stands out now, but because you have this really nice detail on this piece of scepter, wand. Going back to the hands, this is the close-fisted hands. So this is one hand. This is his right hand with the fiery effect or smoke effect. Really nice work on this. So how they did this, it seems like this is a different casting than this one, which is good. That way you don't have to worry about a different paint job, because usually that's what causes a problem. And then it has, as the light is hitting the smoke effect, you can see it casting paint shadows on the hand. Wow. It's more impressive in hand. It really is. Here's the second one. So you can't replace this with the other hands, right? See, if you can see how they did it, it plugs into the palm of his hand. but it swirls out of it. Look at the pattern. It swirls out of the palm of his hand and everything. I almost kind of wish that they had another effect that was bigger. I don't know why, but this is just so impressive. This is coming out of the Marvel Legends accessory mindset, where this is just much more awesome to look at. Of course, it's a higher price point and everything, but still. That's it for the hands. We'll look really quickly. This was, I believe this book was added on later because there was some sort of this. We had some dissatisfaction with the number of accessories given and the higher price range. So I'm glad they did. And it didn't need to be, some people would have it like this as actual paper that you can flip through. You really don't need to. Okay. This is better because you don't, I mean, like, it's not like you're going to flip through it trying to figure out what these text is saying. I'm not. This looks so much better. And everything. It's all weathered. Look at that. It's all weathered and everything. Here's the front. I suppose we can consider this as an accessory. I don't know what episode this came from or what comic book episode, but it's nice to see. It's nice to have. Is it a toy or is it a creature? I don't know. Here's another one. This one doesn't have any articulation, guys. It's just a straight out figure. And the paint job on this one is very, very basic. It's got some speckling. There's some speckling going on. And I'm sure that is intentional. It's got a bit of a shading going on in between the cracks and everything. Goat hooves over here. Nice face, nice, you know. It's not an essential. It's not an essential accessory for me. It's kind of nice to have. The one thing that I would say that this thing needs is either a podium or a table set where all these things would then make sense. Having this guy on the table, this thing on the table, the staff and everything. That's what we saw on that first splash page. I do also consider these two almost as an accessory. This is definitely what I think of when I'm thinking of Orko. This is the design that I'm thinking of. Okay, so that does move, and it's just a straight rotation like that. It's not a ball joint. So don't even bother trying to move it in and out or up and down. It's just straight up like that. I'm okay with that. I really do think of this more of as an accessory than a figure. This is almost, I would compare this almost to similar to what this is. Just a figure, more like a statuesque rather than an actual figure. So I don't really mind that it's got limited articulation. It looks good. The paint application that they use in this one is much more simpler. As you can see, it doesn't have the fingernails or anything that the other hands have, and it's not interchangeable. As you can see, the scale is completely different. The paint, the shade of blue, is exactly the same though. So that's good. This is also what I think of when I think of the color of his robe. very, yeah. I don't have to compare it to what it's like on the TV. I just know that when I look at it, it looks good. It looks like Orko, the way I think of Orko. The bottom one, how does that hook into... Here's the base that comes with it. This, as you can see, the end is just a simple rod, but the other end has this thing over here. Because I'm pretty sure that's the one that goes into this one. Oh, I see. No. And then it comes with these two clampy things, right? Which I'm assuming is the one that's supposed to go in here. Yeah. So then I suppose this goes like so. So my only concern about that is because this is mostly tension. There's no springs or anything, that there's no device that's like this, right? So it's just gonna tension into the figure. So one of the first concerns would be, is it gonna cause that paint rub that I'm referring to with the older paint? Let me see. I'm moving it back and forth, as you can see. So if it's gonna cause that rub, over time I'm sure it will, but in the older ones you would see it like almost immediately. So I don't see any by doing that, so that's good. This is soft rubber. Oh wait, there's also a soft rubber at the tip of these, so don't lose that, because I think that definitely does help. See, there's one now, but I really messed around with that quite a bit. And also I think that's when it came off, this rubber tip. So I think eventually it's going to cause it, but at the same time, this is a static figure, right? There's no reason why we should be moving it in and out of this stand. So once you place it in there, it's just like, boink, you're done. All right. I looked up her name. I know what it is. It's something L-E-L something. I'm just gonna call her Orket, okay? I'm sorry. Again, the same with the other figure. I look at it. I'm sure that if I were to reference it with the actual filmation, I'll see some differences and everything. But as I look at it with my naked eye, I'm seeing that's just like her. I'm satisfied with what I'm seeing. Again, just like the Orko figure, that's all she does. The two hands at the shoulder, up and down. So, oh wait, there is a little bit of outward movement on this hand. So I guess it's possible. No, I just don't see a hinge that goes in and out. So I feel like it's just meant to go up and down. So the same kind of paint application, very basic sculptural detail. Yeah. So again, we'll do the same thing with Orko. There she is. There he is. Look at that. Very nice contrast with the hair, with the hat. The paint in the hat is actually a little bit more lighter than what you're seeing on the video. So here is Orko's unmasked head. You may disagree with how Mondo portrayed his face, or you might like it. It's a nice option to show if you guys are interested in that. I was never interested. I was curious, of course, with what Orko looked like underneath it, but I'm like, yeah, I'm okay in and out. I know Orko as just having a black face and just the eyes that you see underneath that brim, so I'm okay with that. This is the alternate head that is included with the figure. As you can see, very nice detail. It does have an actual string with some beads going on in it. Don't pull it. It is just tied and then wrapped around, as you can see. I'll unwrap it, but it's meant like that. And as you can see, there's the paint job. We all know with Mondo figures that they do an excellent job on painting and everything. It's got some nice wash on the ears. I really like the fact that they changed the color of the eyes compared to this one, where it's just more bright yellow. This one has a little bit more of, if you look at inside the eyelid, it's got a liner and then the actual color of the eye, so that's good. They accentuated that. Then you have the black, and then you have, of course, the handkerchief, or what would you call that? Nicely textured, nicely painted, and everything. Really nice working down. So that's it for the accessories. Of course, we have the base over here, and this one, I'm assuming this just plugs in like so. And then you have the clear base. I'm really happy that they did the clear base. Look at how clear that is. As you can see, my hands through shining through. And the only reason why it's not much more clear than normal is because of the texturing that's going on.